Hello everyone, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be taking this little scrap piece of 1095 I've got here. This is off of a piece of steel that I actually cut up and used for the core of the battleship project, the D-guard buoy that's here on the channel. And what this is 1095, 1/8 of an inch thick. I buy my steel at Maritime Knife Supply and Jant's Supply. You can also get good quality steel at New Jersey Steel Baron. But we're going to be taking this piece today and we're going to be forging a neck knife. Now a neck knife is usually a small knife in the ballpark of about 5.5 inches, and it gets the name neck knife because it's usually wore around the neck with a piece of like paracord or something like that. Usually has a Kydex sheath. I have seen some with leather sheaths. You can also call it a utility knife because they're usually pretty small. The one that I've got in store today is going to end up being about 5.5 inches long, with about a 2.5 inch blade. It's just going to be a standard style. It'll mimic the hunters that I normally forge. You've seen several of those here on the channel. So it's a simple knife. Ought to be a fun little build, because sometimes forging these little tiny knives like this can be more challenging than forging the bigger knives. So with that being said, let's get this tossed in the forge and let's get to work. Alright, so now I'm going to scribe a line down the center of my edge here, and that'll be where I grind up to pre-heat treat for my bevels. I'm going to use a height gauge, but you can also use a drill bit. I just put some blue dicum on the edge here. You can also use a black Sharpie, red Sharpie, blue Sharpie, whatever you want to do. Whenever you use a drill bit to do this, just make sure your drill bit's the same thickness of the steel that you're using, and all you do is you hold it flat on the surface and run your knife past it like that. And then you'll flip your knife over and you'll do the same thing again. But I'll be using this right here. This is known as a height gauge. I bought this one from Grizzly Industrial. It has a carbide insert here on the end that's interchangeable. I bought this kind because you can also take a carpenter's pencil and shave it down and insert it in here to draw lines on handle material and stuff like that. This one has a dial gauge on it, a dial indicator, but you can get them off of Amazon for like $20-something that has a digital readout. It won't have this replaceable end, but it has a carbide insert as well. But this one was like $70-something, I believe. The ones on Amazon are like $20-something. So just starting out, the drill bit method's probably the best if you're on a really strict budget. And then save up for the one from Amazon and eventually get the one from Grizzly if you want to, because they do have the digital readout ones too. They're just a lot more expensive. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get this scribed. We're going to get our bevels roughed in, then the pinholes drilled for our handle, and we'll be ready for heat treat. Alright, it's time to drill the pinholes for the handle. We're going to be using a number 30 drill bit from Pop's Knife Supply that drills a perfect 1/8 of an inch hole. And we're going to be using this 1/8 of an inch G10 pin stock and some rosewood for the handle. So let's get these pinholes drilled so we can get ready to heat treat this. Alright, so here's where we are. Everything in the quench went great. I tempered this for two 2-hour cycles at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And so now it's time to get over on the grinder and get these bevels finished up and then move on to making this handle. Alright, so let's get after it. Alright, so here we are right off the grinder. Had a couple of uneven spots, as you can tell, a lot more than a couple in reality on the tang. But I got that ground flat so the handle scales fit up nicely. So it's time to get the handle scales drilled and get them shaped. Alright, so here's where we are. Got the handle scales glued up. Time to get this over to the grinder. I'm going to reduce the thickness of these quite a bit. But let's get over there, get on it, get this cleaned up, move on to hand sanding, and get her wrapped up. Alright, let's go. Alright, so there's how it turned out. I was originally going to go with a Kydex sheath, but the client wanted a leather sheath instead, so they designed the sheath, and we put an eyelet up here at the top so they can hang it from a necklace. This is a neat little knife. I think it turned out pretty cool. It was nice to use that scrap rosewood I had laying around too. But yeah, this will be right at home in a tackle box or a toolbox, hanging around your neck as well while you're hiking, in a backpack too. With that being said, I appreciate you for watching. If you would, hit that sub button down below, ring the notification bell to notify me of this content as it posts, and I'll see you in a bit. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.